Carlos King used to be one of the biggest names in reality TV. At just 45, he had already built a television empire. People called him the mastermind behind the drama. He knew how to take ordinary people and turn them into stars. His name was linked to ratings success, intense storylines, and the kind of chaos that kept fans glued to their screens. But now, the same empire he created is falling apart and fast. The trouble all centers around a lawsuit, and it's not just any lawsuit, it's one that's got the whole reality TV world paying attention. The focus? The hit show Love and Marriage, Huntsville. Carlos wasn't just a producer sitting in a chair behind the scenes. He was the one pulling the strings. He knew what to say, who to push, and how to stir the pot to keep the show spicy. But sometimes the same fire you build your kingdom with ends up burning it down. The flames started with two familiar faces, Shari and LaTisha Scott. These two women started off as co-stars, then became on-screen rivals, and now? They're teaming up in court. That's how serious things have gotten. These women, once known for clashing on camera, are now standing side by side to take Carlos to court. That says a lot. Something must have gone very wrong behind the scenes. This lawsuit wasn't a surprise to those who were paying attention. Since the very first season, fans noticed something different about Love and Marriage, Huntsville. The storylines felt too personal. Melody's heartbreaking divorce, LaTisha's family problems, breakdowns, and private moments were all shown while millions watched. But the issue wasn't just what the show aired, it was how it was aired, and who was making money off of it. According to legal documents, both women say they were emotionally pushed to their limits, tricked, and barely paid for the emotional toll they went through. Melody says that since her personal life became such a huge part of the show, she was promised a share of the profits. Her marriage falling apart with Martel was basically the backbone of the series. But she says the money she was promised? She never saw a penny. LaTisha has her own accusations. She claims her scenes were edited to make her look foolish or weak even when she had proof to show otherwise. One time, she even confronted Carlos directly, asking why she was portrayed that way. His answer? That's what the audience connects with. That one sentence speaks volumes. It's about power. Who controls the story? Who controls the money? And who gets to decide how these women are seen? It doesn't end there. Melody says she helped create the idea for the show in the first place. She and Martel had the concept, pitched it, and helped shape what eventually became Love and Marriage, Huntsville. But when the show took off, she says Carlos pushed her out. She claims he erased her from the credits, took over all the major decisions, and left her with nothing while she cried on screen. He cashed checks behind the scenes. That's what lawyers call intellectual property theft. If proven true, Carlos could owe Melody a lot of money, credit, and even ownership rights. As Carlos stayed quiet, the internet lit up. Fans picked sides. Other cast members started speaking up. Whispers about NDAs, threats, and intimidation began to surface. This was no longer just about one show. It had become a conversation about how the reality TV world treats the very people who make it successful. Social media exploded. Hashtags like Justice for Melody and LaTisha Speaks started trending. People who once watched for the drama were now watching for the truth. And Carlos? His silence only made things worse. No statement. No apology. Not even a simple "we're looking into it." Meanwhile, stories kept spilling. One former crew member claimed that LaTisha once stormed into the editing room, demanding to know why she looked clueless in a scene where she had clearly proven her point. The answer she got? The audience likes when you look confused. That's not just shady editing, that's messing with someone's image for ratings. Melody's claims go even deeper. Her team says some of the most painful moments of her life, moments she asked not to be filmed, were still recorded and aired. One scene showed her crying during a private retreat. She says she never agreed to let that be shown. But it aired anyway, and it went viral. That's when people started asking, what does consent really mean in reality TV? LaTisha had her own stories. She says Carlos's team stirred up problems between her and her husband, Marceau, on purpose. Cast members were told to bring up cheating rumors, just to get reactions on camera. The goal? More drama, more tweets, and more ratings. But the cost? Her peace. Her reputation. Fans flooded her social media, calling her names. It got so bad, she says, it started affecting her mental health. And then there's the money. Both women claim Carlos's production company, Kingdom Reign Entertainment, messed with the financial records. Melody's contract allegedly included bonuses based on high ratings. But once the numbers came in, the bonuses never did. LaTisha found out her face was used in reruns and online specials, but she was never told and never paid. One time, a fan tagged her in a clip she didn't even know existed. As all this came to light, other reality stars began to speak out too. Quad Web made a cryptic post saying reality contracts are a trap dressed like a paycheck. She didn't name Carlos, but people understood what she meant. The truth was out, and it was getting louder by the day. Behind the scenes, panic was setting in. Carlos's team tried to control the damage, reaching out to former cast members and OWN executives, asking for help. But OWN, the network that aired Love and Marriage, wasn't defending him. Insiders said they were worried. This wasn't just a lawsuit. It was a brand crisis. OWN built its name on uplifting Black voices, especially Black women. And now 2 of their stars were accusing the network's golden producer of using them, manipulating them, and shutting them out of their own stories. Things got worse when sponsors started backing out. Quietly at first. Then louder. One brand said in a statement, "We support Black creators but not at the expense of Black women." Others followed, pulling ads and canceling deals. Without that sponsor money, Carlos's company was in trouble. Despite his fame, insiders said his productions ran on tight budgets. The financial hit was brutal. Even people who had once been loyal started to speak out anonymously. Former cast members from other shows Carlos produced said they had similar experiences: late contracts, broken promises, and edited scenes that made them look crazy. Now, people are asking, can Carlos King survive this? His silence is starting to look like guilt. His reputation is hanging by a thread. And if more women come forward, his entire empire might collapse. One woman said she was blacklisted after refusing to create fake drama on camera. She didn't want to argue or play a role that wasn't real. After that, she says she was never called back for another project. And that was just one of many troubling stories. Others say they were pressured to sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, before they even got to read their contracts. Some claimed Carlos King threatened to cut their scenes or edit them out of the show completely if they ever spoke up or asked too many questions. These things used to be whispered in private backstage, in group chats, or after filming. But now, those same stories are being posted online for the world to see. Anonymous blog posts, Reddit threads, Instagram stories, they're all telling the same story. Still, Carlos has said nothing. His social media pages have gone completely silent. Public appearances? Cancelled. Cast members who once trusted him say they've tried reaching out, calls, texts, DMs. But all they got were read receipts. One insider summed it up perfectly: he's vanished like he knows it's all falling apart. But what may hurt him most isn't happening online, it's happening in court. Legal experts say if Melody proves her claims, this case could set a major precedent in reality TV. If she helped create Love and Marriage, Huntsville, and was then pushed out, it could force the industry to rethink how it treats its stars, especially those who helped build the shows from the ground up. This wouldn't just be about Melody getting paid. It could open the door for other reality stars to claim credit for their ideas, ask for ownership, and fight back against unfair contracts. It would be a huge shakeup for producers and networks that have long controlled everything behind the scenes. Meanwhile, the show itself is struggling. Love and Marriage, Huntsville, the very series that made Carlos King's name, is now surrounded by controversy. OWN hasn't officially cancelled it, but those close to production say this season might be the last. The cast is divided, trust is gone, and the energy on set just isn't the same. Carlos spent years building his empire by telling other people's stories. But now, it's his story that's playing out in public. And this time, he's not behind the camera. The cameras are pointed at him, and he's not in control of the edit. What happens next remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, this situation has changed how people look at reality TV. Fans are asking tougher questions. Cast members are speaking up. And networks are being forced to listen. Carlos may have built an empire on drama, but this time, he's living in it. And the ending? It may be completely out of his hands. Carlos spent years building his empire by telling other people's stories. But now, it's his story that's playing out in public. And this time, he's not behind the camera. The cameras are pointed at him, and he's not in control of the edit. What happens next remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, this situation has changed how people look at reality TV. Fans are asking tougher questions. Cast members are speaking up. And networks are being forced to listen. Carlos may have built an empire on drama, but this time, he's living in it. And the ending? It may be completely out of his hands.